Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into something you've definitely heard of, but probably think belongs in a black and white movie, Morse code. You know that classic series of dits and das? But what if I told you it's not just surviving? In some circles, it's actually thriving. Let's find out why.
So let's just ask it straight up. Is Morse code obsolete? I mean, it's a fair question, right? We've got instant messaging, fiber optics, satellites. In a world like ours, where does a code from the 1830s even fit in? You'd think it belongs in a history museum, not on your computer.
Well, there's your answer, right there. The number one reason Morse code has stuck around is its beautiful, rugged simplicity. When the power is out, the internet is down, and your phone is nothing more than a paperweight, Morse code still gets through. It is without a doubt the ultimate backup plan for communication.
And that raw simplicity is exactly why it's so relevant today. But it's not just for doomsday scenarios. Morse code is absolutely booming in the amateur or ham radio community. For thousands of people, it's a skill, it's a hobby, and it's this unique language that connects them with folks all over the globe. And the best part? All you really need is a simple radio and the desire to learn.
But let's be real for a second. Learning it can feel, well, pretty intimidating. Where do you even begin? Well, that's where modern tech steps in to help us master this timeless skill. So let's talk about a piece of software designed to do exactly that. Morse Trainer.
So what is it? At its heart, Morse Trainer is like having your own personal digital tutor for Morse code. It's built to take all the guesswork out of learning by using teaching methods that are proven to work. It turns what seems like this massive, daunting task into something you can actually manage and maybe even have fun with.
So how does it actually work? Well, the real magic of this software is its approach. It doesn't just throw the whole alphabet at you and hope for the best. Instead, it gives you two very different, very specific paths to becoming fluent. And they're both focused on one critical skill, teaching you to hear the code as a language, not just see a bunch of dots and dashes on a page.
Okay, so the app is built on these two proven philosophies. On one hand, you've got the mnemonic technique, which is all about associating sounds. And on the other, there's the famous cock method, which is more of a gradual, step-by-step approach. Let's quickly break down how each one works.
First up, the mnemonic technique. The core idea here is so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Stop counting the dots and dashes. Seriously, that's the slow, frustrating way to learn. Instead, this method teaches you to connect the unique sound of each character, that rhythmic D-da, directly to the letter A. You're training your brain to recognize audio patterns, which is way faster.
And then you've got the cock method, which is just fantastic for building confidence. With this, you start with only two characters. That's it, just two. You practice them at full speed until you know them by heart, until you can recognize them almost perfectly every time. And only then do you add a third character. It's this steady, step-by-step climb that makes sure you never feel overwhelmed.
Now, beyond these two core teaching methods, the app is just packed with other useful tools. There's a translator so you can type any text and hear it in Morse. You can customize the transmission speed and the sound pitch to whatever you're comfortable with. It even supports both Latin and Cyrillic alphabets, which makes it a really versatile piece of software.
All right, so all this sounds great in theory, right? But the real question is, does it actually work for real people? Well, let's take a look at what some of the users have been saying about their experience with Morse Trainer.
So, first, here's a take from a totally new learner. They point out something that trips a lot of people up. You can listen to old recordings all day, but you need to actively practice. For them, this app was the thing that finally bridged that gap.
And I love this piece of feedback from a military veteran. It shows that the app isn't just for beginners. It's also a really effective tool for someone who has experience but needs to brush off some rust and get their skills sharp again. You know, that right there speaks volumes about its quality.
So are you feeling inspired? Thinking you might actually want to give this a try yourself? Well, it's a lot easier than you might think to get started and begin sending your own messages. Here's everything you need to know. Okay, so the software is available for Windows and for SteamOS and Linux too. It supports English, Spanish, and Russian. And here's a nice little bonus. At the time we're making this, it happens to be on sale for 25% off over on Steam.
And for anyone who's still on the fence, listen to this, because this is probably the best part. Steam has an amazing refund policy. If you've used an app for less than 2 hours, you can get a full refund, no questions asked. That means you can buy Morse Trainer, give it a real shot, and if it's not for you, it costs you nothing. It's a completely risk-free way to try and learn this new skill.
So we'll leave you with this one final thought.
Once you've mastered this timeless code, this kind of universal language that works when literally nothing else will, what would be the very first message you'd want to send out into the world? Thanks for joining me today.